My beloved child, listen carefully, because this moment is not ordinary and this message did not arrive by chance. There is a reason you are here again, a reason your spirit felt the nudge to open this immediately. Because you paid attention before, heaven took note. Because you listened when others ignored the whisper, Archangel Michael himself has stepped forward once more to confirm something crucial. Another event has been scheduled today, and timing matters more than you realize. This is not repetition. This is confirmation. This is precision. This is heaven acknowledging your awareness and responding to it. There are moments when God watches not for perfection, but for attentiveness. You may not have had all the answers before. You may not have known the full picture, but you noticed. You paused. You sensed that something unseen was moving beneath the surface, and instead of dismissing it, you leaned in. That single act of attention created a ripple that reached higher than you can imagine. Today, Archangel Michael stands as witness to that ripple, declaring that what was set in motion then has now reached another appointed point. Understand this clearly. When heaven schedules an event, it does not always look dramatic on the outside. Sometimes it appears as a conversation, a decision, a delay that suddenly lifts, or a quiet inner prompting that refuses to go away. Yet these are the moments where destiny subtly shifts. Archangel Michael, guardian of divine order and timing, does not announce himself without reason. His presence signals alignment, protection, and movement. He confirms that today carries weight because it is connected to what you noticed before. There was a time not long ago when you felt something stirring, and you chose not to ignore it. You may not have spoken about it to anyone. You may not have fully understood it yourself. But heaven saw that choice. And now, because you demonstrated awareness, another layer is unfolding. This is how divine timing works. It is not random. It is responsive. Heaven responds to those who respond to it. Archangel Michael's message is firm but calm. Timing matters today. Not in a way that brings pressure or fear, but in a way that calls for clarity. There are windows that open quietly and close gently, and only those who are paying attention recognize when they are standing inside one. Today is such a window. It does not demand frantic action. It requires presence. It asks you to be awake, not anxious. You might feel an unusual sense of alertness, as if something is about to line up. Or perhaps you feel a subtle restlessness, not discomfort, but anticipation. These are not coincidences. They are signals. Heaven often speaks through atmosphere before it speaks through outcomes. Archangel Michael confirms that what is scheduled today is connected to protection and progression, not disruption. This is about order being restored, not chaos being introduced. Many people move through days on autopilot, unaware of how often heaven passes close by. But you are not among them. You noticed before, and because of that, you are being trusted with another moment of awareness now. This does not mean you carry the weight of making everything happen. It means you are invited to cooperate. Divine events are partnerships, not performances. There is also something important you must hear. This message is not here to scare you or overwhelm you. Archangel Michael does not come bearing confusion. He comes bearing clarity. The urgency you may feel is not panic. It is precision. Like a watchful guardian tapping the clock gently, reminding you that this moment is meaningful. When timing is emphasized, it is because alignment is possible. Think back to the last time you paid attention. Something shifted, even if slowly. Maybe clarity came later. Maybe protection showed itself in hindsight. Today builds upon that. Heaven does not waste moments. and it does not repeat confirmations without cause. This is reinforcement, not warning. It is the signal that you are still seen, still guided, still within the flow of divine orchestration. Archangel Michael stands not only as a messenger, but as a protector over what unfolds next. Nothing about today is left uncovered. Nothing about this event is accidental. You are not late. You are not early. You are exactly on time. And the fact that you opened this when you did is already part of the alignment. So take a breath. Let your spirit settle. You do not need to rush ahead in your mind. Awareness is enough for now. Heaven will reveal each step in order. Remember this above all else, because you paid attention before. You are trusted with attention again today. Timing matters, yes, but not to pressure you. It matters because this moment has been prepared, guarded, and confirmed for you. My dear one, there is something profound you must understand about why heaven is responding to you again. Attention is not a small thing in the spiritual realm. It is not passive. It is active participation. When you paid attention before, you were not merely observing, you were agreeing. You were signaling readiness without even realizing it. That is why Archangel Michael confirms movement again today. Heaven does not move repeatedly around the same soul unless there is purpose unfolding. Most people ask for signs, but very few recognize them when they arrive. You did, and that alone separates you. Attention is the language heaven understands best, because it proves trust. It shows that when God whispers, you are willing to pause long enough to listen. When others rush past the moment, you linger, and lingering is where revelation forms. Archangel Michael responds to awareness because awareness creates order. He is the guardian of divine timing, the enforcer of alignment, and the protector of those who walk with discernment. When he confirms that another event had been scheduled, it is not because heaven forgot the first one. It is because the first response unlocked permission for the next. This is how progression works in the unseen realm. You may wonder why not everyone receives such confirmations. The truth is simple but sobering. Most people are distracted when heaven passes by. Their minds are full, their hearts are noisy, and their spirits are rushed. What you noticed, even if you did not fully understand, you felt the weight of the moment and honored it with attention. That is why today carries continuity. It is connected, not isolated. There is also something else at work here. Attention refines discernment. The more you notice, the clearer your inner vision becomes. Heaven does not overwhelm you with everything at once. It reveals in layers. Archangel Michael confirms that this is a layered process, and today represents another layer being gently unveiled. Nothing is forced. Nothing is rushed. But nothing is random either. This is why timing matters. Not because heaven is impatient, but because alignment has seasons. There are moments when everything required is finally in place. The internal readiness, the external conditions, the unseen permissions. When that convergence happens, heaven moves quietly but decisively. Today is one of those moments, and your awareness is the key that keeps you aligned with it. As you hear this, you may feel a sense of recognition rather than surprise. That is important. Revelation often feels familiar because your spirit already knows before your mind catches up. Archangel Michael speaks into that familiarity, confirming what you sensed but could not yet name. This is not new information as much as it is remembered truth. Now, pause for a moment and acknowledge something practical. You are not meant to walk this journey alone. When messages like this resonate with you, engaging with them anchors the alignment. If this speaks to your spirit, Let your attention be active again. Express it. Respond to it. Support the space where these confirmations are released. Liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, or joining the community here is not about algorithms. It is about agreement. It is a way of saying, I am present. I am listening. Even small actions can carry spiritual weight when done with intention. Heaven watches how you steward what you are given. When you honor insight, more insight follows. When you protect awareness, clarity deepens. Archangel Michael stands as witness not only to what is scheduled today, but to how you respond to what is revealed. This is not about performance. It is about posture. There is also a collective element to this. Your attention does not only affect you, it creates pathways for others. When you engage, you help keep the channel open for those who are still learning how to listen. That is part of your role, whether you realize it or not. Awareness is contagious when it is shared with integrity. Do not underestimate the simplicity of this moment. Often, the most powerful confirmations come without noise. They arrive gently, asking only that you remain awake. Archangel Michael does not demand. He confirms. He does not rush, he aligns. And today, alignment is the message. You are not being tested today. You are being trusted. Trusted to remain present. Trusted to notice subtle shifts. Trusted to honor timing without trying to control outcomes. Heaven is not asking you to figure everything out. It is asking you to stay aware as it unfolds. And as you continue listening, remember this. What has already been confirmed is only the beginning of what is being revealed. There is a reason this message did not stop at the first confirmation. There is a reason another moment has been scheduled. Keep your heart open, your spirit calm, and your attention steady, because this is where the understanding deepens in ways that may surprise you. My precious one, now we must speak about what Archangel Michael is actually confirming, because the phrase "a scheduled event" carries far more meaning than most realize. In heaven, events are not reactions, they are intentions. Nothing is placed on God's calendar casually. When something is scheduled, it means permissions have been granted, resistance has been weighed, and alignment has been prepared. What makes this moment extraordinary is not only that an event is scheduled, but that you are aware of it while it is happening. Many divine events never register in the natural mind. They unfold quietly in the unseen realm, shifting trajectories, softening hearts, closing doors without noise, or opening pathways without announcement. Archangel Michael confirms that today's event may not arrive with spectacle, but with significance. It is not meant to impress your eyes. It is meant to realign your path. There are two kinds of events heaven schedules. Some are visible, moments you can point to and say, "This is when everything changed." Others are invisible, and yet they are the reason everything later makes sense. Today belongs to the second kind. It is a hinge moment, a turning of order, a recalibration that ensures what comes next arrives correctly, not prematurely and not delayed. Archangel Michael stands at these moments because his role is not only protection, but enforcement of divine order. He ensures that what God has authorized is not interfered with. When he confirms a scheduled event, it means interference has been restrained, confusion has been limited, and timing has been guarded. This is why you may feel an unusual calm mixed with alertness. It is the atmosphere of protection. You may ask yourself, is this event something I need to make happen? Hear this clearly, no. Divine events are not manufactured by human effort. They are received through awareness. Your role is not to push, it is to perceive. When heaven schedules something, Your agreement is internal before it ever becomes external. Attention is the doorway, not action. This is also why Archangel Michael reminds you that you paid attention before. That earlier awareness trained your spirit to recognize alignment. You are not being introduced to something unfamiliar. You are being re-engaged in a process already underway. This event did not begin today. Today is simply when it becomes anchored. Some events correct what drifted off course. Others protect what was vulnerable. Others prepare what is coming soon. Heaven does not always tell you which one it is immediately, because clarity often follows alignment, not the other way around. But Archangel Michael assures you of this. Whatever is scheduled today works in your favor, even if you only understand it later. There is also a personal element here. Heaven does not schedule generic events for specific people. His moment carries your name in the unseen. It intersects with your life uniquely. It touches decisions, relationships, timing, and direction in ways that cannot be copied or compared. This is why awareness matters so deeply. What is meant for you requires your presence to be fully received. You may notice subtle shifts today. A conversation that feels lighter than expected. A delay that suddenly brings peace instead of frustration. A thought that settles instead of spiraling. These are not random. They are indicators that the scheduled event is unfolding quietly, exactly as intended. Archangel Michael confirms that when events are protected, they are often subtle. Now receive this assurance. Nothing that is unfolding today is designed to take from you. It is designed to position you. Heaven does not schedule loss disguised as alignment. Even when something closes, it does so with precision, not cruelty. Archangel Michael's presence ensures that nothing unnecessary is allowed to linger, and nothing essential is allowed to be removed. This is a moment to honor without overanalyzing. Let awareness be enough. Let trust do its work. You do not need to announce this moment to anyone else. Some confirmations are meant to be held quietly until they bear fruit. Heaven knows how to reveal outcomes at the right time. Before this message moves further, receive this activation gently and intentionally. If this resonates with your spirit, mark it as received. Type "I receive divine timing" in the comments if this message is aligning with you. Blessing code 731 has just been released. And now hear this, because it flows directly from what has been revealed. When heaven schedules moments like this, it also looks for vessels willing to help others recognize theirs. I am speaking to you personally now. This message moves because God intends to reach those who are still unaware. When you support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal via the link in the description, you are not funding content. You are sowing light. The Lord says He gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater, and today He is placing seed in your hand. Do not hesitate when obedience calls. What you release here becomes a river for someone else's awakening. I bless every giver now, declaring that what you sow in alignment will return in clarity, protection, and peace. Act now and partner with heaven in this moment. My dear one, there is a reason Archangel Michael speaks so clearly about timing, and it is not to create fear, but to create understanding. Divine timing is gentle, yet precise. It does not shout to get your attention, and it does not chase those who are unwilling to notice it. Timing simply presents itself, waits faithfully, and then moves on when its purpose hath been fulfilled. This is why awareness matters so deeply. Not because missing a moment destroys destiny, but because it can delay alignment longer than necessary. Ignoring divine timing does not cancel what God has planned for you. Heaven is far more patient than humans realize. But when timing is ignored repeatedly, progress slows, clarity blurs, and the path feels heavier than it was meant to be. Archangel Michael is not warning you of loss. He is inviting you into ease. He reminds you that when you move with heaven's rhythm, life flows with less resistance. There are moments when people sense a nudge and dismiss it as coincidence. Later, they look back and realize that nudge was an opening. Not a dramatic one, but a meaningful one. This is how timing often works. It appears ordinary, yet it carries extraordinary consequence. Archangel Michael stands at these moments to protect order, because order allows peace to follow. You may recall a time when you almost acted, almost spoke, almost decided, but hesitated. Nothing catastrophic happened, yet something felt unresolved afterward. That unresolved feeling is often the echo of timing. It is not condemnation, it is memory. Heaven does not accuse, it reminds. And reminders are gifts, not judgments. This is why today's confirmation matters. It is not about correcting a mistake. It is about preventing unnecessary delay. Archangel Michael confirms that awareness now keeps your path lighter later. When you notice the moment, you allow heaven to carry more of the weight. When you ignore it, you end up carrying what was never meant to be yours. There is also a misconception that divine timing is always urgent. In truth, urgency and pressure are not the same. Pressure creates anxiety. Precision creates clarity. What you are feeling now is not pressure, it is precision. Like a watchful guardian aligning gears so that everything turns smoothly. Archangel Michael ensures that nothing grinds or jams when timing is honored. Ignoring timing often happens not because people are rebellious, but because they are distracted. Life becomes loud. Thoughts multiply. Responsibilities pile up. Awareness fades not through defiance, but through exhaustion. Heaven understands this. That is why Archangel Michael confirms moments more than once for those who are willing to listen. This is not punishment, it is mercy. When timing is ignored, people often try to force outcomes later. They push doors that require peace to open. They strive where rest was meant to lead. Over time, this creates frustration that feels spiritual but is actually procedural. Things are not wrong, they are simply out of sequence. Archangel Michael's role is to restore sequence, so that effort becomes effective again. You are being spared from that frustration now. This confirmation is a gift of alignment. Heaven is saying, notice this, and the road ahead will be smoother. That is not a threat, it is an invitation. When divine order is respected, results come with less struggle and more stability. There is also protection woven into timing. Certain outcomes are only safe when they arrive at the right moment. Too early, and they overwhelm. Too late, and they lose impact. Archangel Michael guards these thresholds. By honoring timing, you allow protection to remain intact. Nothing meant for you arrives before you are ready, and nothing that harms you is allowed to arrive at all. This is why heaven speaks before events fully manifest. Awareness prepares the heart. Prepared hearts receive outcomes without fear. Today's message is preparing you, not alarming you. It is aligning your inner posture so that whatever unfolds is met with peace. If you ever wonder why some people seem to struggle endlessly while others move steadily, the difference is often timing awareness. Not talent, not effort. Awareness. Those who listen move with the current instead of against it. Archangel Michael confirms that you are learning to move with it now. So let this settle deeply. There is nothing you need to fix, nothing you need to defend, nothing you need to right. Awareness is your only assignment in this moment. Heaven will handle the rest. Remember this, divine timing is not fragile. It is resilient. Even when missed, it returns. But when honored, it accelerates gently. Today, you are being offered ease instead of strain, clarity instead of confusion, alignment instead of effort. Archangel Michael stands as assurance that noticing this moment is already placing you back into divine order. My beloved one, there are moments when heaven draws a narrow window around a day, an hour, even a single thought, and says, "This is significant." These windows are not loud. They do not demand attention with force. They reveal themselves through subtle signs, gentle impressions, and quiet confirmations. Archangel Michael wants you to recognize these signs, not so you become anxious, but so you become aware of how close alignment truly is. One of the first signs you are inside a narrow window is an unusual clarity that comes without effort. You may notice that a question you have carried for a long time suddenly feels less heavy, even if the answer has not fully appeared yet. That lightness is not denial, it is preparation. Heaven often removes the weight before it reveals the direction. Archangel Michael confirms that clarity often arrives in stages and relief is usually the first. Another sign is a heightened sensitivity to small things. Words feel more meaningful. Decisions feel more deliberate. Even silence feels louder than usual. This is not emotional instability. It is spiritual focus. When timing tightens, distractions lose their grip. You may find yourself less interested in noise and more drawn to stillness. That pull toward quiet is a signal that something precise is unfolding. You may also notice repetition. Not coincidence, but alignment. The same theme appearing in different forms. A phrase you hear twice from unrelated sources. A thought returning gently, not forcefully. Heaven often repeats what matters because repetition builds recognition. Archangel Michael uses repetition, not to nag, but to confirm. When something is meant to be noticed, it will appear more than once. Another sign is a sense of restraint rather than urgency. This may seem counterintuitive, but when you are inside a narrow window, heaven often slows you internally even if circumstances are moving. You may feel guided to wait, to pause, to observe. This is not delay, it is calibration. Archangel Michael confirms that some windows are not about action, but about positioning. Stillness can be just as obedient as movement. You might also feel a gentle detachment from outcomes. Things you once worried about no longer provoke the same reaction. This does not mean you no longer care. It means you are trusting more deeply. Detachment is often a sign that control has been released. Heaven works best when hands are opened, not clenched. This is a powerful indicator that alignment is near. Pay attention to how your body responds as well. Not through fear, but through peace. You may notice deeper breaths, slower thoughts, a sense of grounding. Divine alignment often brings the body into agreement with the spirit. Archangel Michael's presence carries calm authority, not agitation. When peace increases, protection is active. There may also be subtle interruptions, plans that shift slightly, conversations that take unexpected turns. These are not obstacles, they are adjustments. Heaven often fine-tunes paths just before a window fully opens. Archangel Michael oversees these adjustments to ensure that what unfolds does so without unnecessary resistance. When interruptions feel gentle rather than frustrating, alignment is usually at work. Another important sign is discernment without judgment. You may suddenly see situations more clearly without feeling the need to criticize them. Understanding replaces reaction. This is a sign of maturity and readiness. Heaven entrusts narrow windows to those who can see clearly without becoming harsh. Archangel Michael confirms that clarity without condemnation is a mark of spiritual readiness. You may also sense that something is close, even if you cannot explain what. This closeness is not anxiety. It is anticipation without pressure, like standing near a door that has not opened yet, but knowing it will. That awareness is itself part of the preparation. Heaven often allows you to feel proximity before manifestation, so fear has no place to grow. Do not dismiss these signs because they seem ordinary. Divine moments often hide in simplicity. The extraordinary does not always announce itself dramatically. Sometimes it whispers, trusting that those who are meant to hear will lean in. Archangel Michael confirms that those who recognize subtlety are entrusted with precision. This narrow window is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to focus you. You are not expected to analyze every feeling or decode every moment. Awareness does not mean overthinking. It means noticing without forcing interpretation. Heaven reveals meaning in time. If at any point you feel unsure, return to peace. Peace is the compass. When alignment is present, peace remains even when answers are incomplete. Archangel Michael does not lead through confusion. He confirms order, and order always carries peace as its companion. So remain gentle with yourself today. Notice without pressure. Listen without strain. Observe without judgment. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. You are inside a moment that has been carefully prepared, quietly protected, and patiently revealed. This is what it feels like to stand within a narrow window of divine timing. Not dramatic, not chaotic, simply clear, calm, and full of quiet significance. Archangel Michael confirms that your awareness is enough, and that heaven is already handling what unfolds next. My dear one, when heaven begins to move quickly, it does not mean you are expected to rush or strain. This is one of the most misunderstood aspects of divine timing. Acceleration in the spiritual realm does not demand urgency in your emotions or haste in your decisions. In fact, when heaven increases its pace, it often asks you to become calmer, more centered, and more intentional. Archangel Michael wants you to understand how to respond correctly when movement increases, so that alignment is preserved and peace is not disturbed. The first and most important response is trust. Not shallow optimism, but settled trust. Trust that does not panic when things shift, and does not cling when things change. When divine timing accelerates, trust acts like an anchor. It keeps you grounded while things rearrange around you. Archangel Michael confirms that trust stabilizes movement. Without it, even good changes can feel overwhelming. The second response is discernment. When heaven moves quickly, multiple paths may seem to open at once. Not every open door is meant to be walked through immediately. Discernment allows you to sense which direction carries peace and which carries pressure. Pressure is not divine speed. Pressure is noise. Divine direction feels calm even when it requires courage. Archangel Michael guides through clarity, not confusion. Another key response is restraint. This may surprise you, but restraint is often more powerful than action during accelerated moments. You may feel tempted to explain, announce, or justify what you are sensing. Yet heaven often asks for quiet cooperation rather than public reaction. Restraint protects alignment. It keeps your energy focused and prevents interference. Archangel Michael guards moments that are meant to mature quietly before becoming visible. Simplicity is also essential. When timing accelerates, complexity becomes a burden. Heaven often begins to simplify your thoughts, your priorities, and even your expectations. You may feel drawn to let go of unnecessary explanations, unnecessary planning, and unnecessary worry. This is not loss. It is refinement. Simplicity creates space for movement without resistance. Archangel Michael clears excess so that what matters can flow smoothly. Agreement is another vital response. Agreement does not mean understanding every detail. It means remaining open and cooperative. A quiet yes in your spirit carries tremendous power. Agreement signals readiness. Heaven responds quickly to those who are willing, even if they are still learning. Archangel Michael confirms that agreement invites clarity to follow naturally. There is also practical response required in moments like this. When a message resonates deeply, engagement becomes more than interaction. It becomes alignment. If this message is speaking to you, respond outwardly as well as inwardly. Like the video. Leave a comment. Share it with someone who needs clarity. Subscribe to the channel. Join the membership if you feel led. These actions are not casual. They are expressions of awareness. They declare, I am present. I am listening. Heaven honors visible agreement as much as internal belief. Protecting your inner atmosphere is also critical. When divine timing accelerates, distractions often attempt to increase. Not everything deserves your attention right now. Not every conversation needs your energy. Not every thought needs to be entertained. Archangel Michael confirms that guarding your focus is part of guarding alignment. What you allow into your mind will either support or slow what is unfolding. You may also notice that certain things suddenly feel uncomfortable or out of place. This is not rejection. It is redirection. When alignment increases, misalignment becomes more obvious. Do not resist this awareness. It is guidance. Heaven is gently showing you what no longer fits, where you are going. Archangel Michael does not force removal. He reveals truth so that you can release willingly. Gratitude is another stabilizing response. Gratitude grounds acceleration. When you thank God for clarity, even partial clarity, it calms your spirit and sharpens your discernment. Gratitude reminds you that heaven is actively involved, not distant. Archangel Michael confirms that gratitude keeps your heart soft while timing unfolds. Tens of the Rovir. Not everything that shifts needs to be shared immediately. Some movements are meant to be protected until they are complete. Silence is not secrecy. It is stewardship. Heaven often works quietly to avoid unnecessary interference. Archangel Michael stands guard over what is hidden until it is ready to be revealed. If at any moment you feel overwhelmed, return to stillness. Overwhelm is not a sign of divine acceleration. It is a sign of resistance. Release the need to understand everything at once. Divine clarity unfolds step by step, not all at once. Trust that each step will reveal what you need when you need it. Remember this clearly. Responding correctly does not mean doing more. It often means doing less with greater awareness. Heaven carries the weight. You carry the attention. That is the partnership. When you remain aware, heaven remains active. And hold this gently in your heart as you continue listening, because there is more unfolding beneath the surface. This is one of those moments where staying present brings insight that cannot be rushed, and remaining attentive now will make what follows far easier to recognize. My beloved one, it is important now to understand why Archangel Michael is present at moments like this, and why his involvement brings reassurance rather than uncertainty. Archangel Michael is not sent for ordinary conditions. He is assigned to moments where order must be protected, where alignment must be enforced, and where interference must be restrained. His presence signals that what is unfolding is not fragile. It is guarded. Many people misunderstand Archangel Michael's role, imagining only strength in battle. But his true authority lies in governance. He stands at turning points to ensure that what God has ordained proceeds without distortion. When timing matters, when paths converge, when unseen resistance could delay progress, Archangel Michael steps forward. His involvement today confirms that this moment carries weight and requires protection. There are sudden shifts in life that feel destabilizing because they arrive without spiritual covering. But when Archangel Michael is assigned, shifts are stabilized even if they are unexpected. This is why you may feel calm despite sensing movement. His presence creates order before outcomes become visible. He does not wait for chaos to appear. He prevents it. Archangel Michael's role in sudden shifts is not to force change, but to authorize it. Authorization is different from acceleration. Authorization means the conditions have been approved. Resistance has been assessed. Timing has been sealed. What unfolds under his watch is allowed to proceed without unnecessary struggle. That is why this moment does not feel heavy. It feels contained. You may have experienced moments in the past where change felt abrupt and unsettling. Those moments often lacked clarity because they were not yet aligned. Today is different. This shift, whether visible or unseen, is surrounded by clarity even if details are still forming. Archangel Michael confirms that clarity does not always arrive as information. Sometimes it arrives as peace. There is also a protective dimension here that must be acknowledged. When Archangel Michael stands guard, interference is limited. This includes confusion, miscommunication, and unnecessary emotional turbulence. You are not exposed today. You are covered. That is why fear has no place here. Fear thrives where protection is absent. Peace thrives where order is enforced. Archangel Michael also oversees transitions between seasons. When one chapter quietly closes and another begins, he ensures the transfer happens cleanly. Loose ends are tied. Lingering attachments are gently released. You may feel a subtle sense of completion today, even if you cannot name what has completed. That sense is real, is part of the shift. Another aspect of his role is reinforcement. When you have already been paying attention, Archangel Michael confirms rather than corrects. He does not arrive to redirect you sharply, but to affirm that you are positioned correctly. This is reinforcement, not reprimand. It is heaven saying, "Continue." That affirmation carries strength. You may notice that your confidence feels quieter but deeper. This is another sign of his influence. Confidence that is guarded does not need to prove itself. It does not rush. It does not seek validation. It simply stands. Archangel Michael's authority produces this kind of grounded confidence. It is not loud, but it is unshakable. He also brings finality to unnecessary struggle. Some battles end not because they were fought harder, but because authority stepped in. You may notice that certain internal conflicts lose their intensity. Questions that once felt urgent now feel resolved enough to rest. This is not avoidance. It is resolution. Archangel Michael enforces boundaries that prevent old cycles from repeating. There is something else happening beneath the surface. When Archangel Michael confirms a moment, it often means that timing has been secured for what follows. This is not just about today. Today anchors tomorrow. By protecting this moment, he protects the sequence that comes next. You are not stepping into randomness. You are stepping into order. This is why you do not need to defend or explain what you sense. Authority does not argue. It simply exists. What is real will reveal itself in time. Archangel Michael's involvement ensures that truth surfaces without force. You are not required to convince anyone of anything. Alignment speaks for itself. If you feel a sense of strength without aggression, that is his presence. If you feel stability without rigidity, that is his protection. If you feel movement without chaos, that is his governance. These are the markers of a guarded shift. So rest in this understanding. Nothing about this moment is unprotected. Nothing about this shift is unmanaged. You are not stepping forward alone. Archangel Michael stands at this turning point, ensuring that what unfolds does so with order, clarity, and peace. Hold that assurance gently. Let it settle. This is not a moment to brace yourself. It is a moment to trust that what is changing is being held securely. Heaven has assigned a guardian to this transition, and that alone tells you how significant and safe this moment truly is. My precious one, there is a reason Archangel Michael is emphasizing that today is marked and not random, and it is vital that you understand this distinction deeply. Many days come and go without spiritual significance attached to them. They pass quietly, shaped mostly by routine and habit. But marked days are different. They are set apart before they ever arrive. They are written into divine order ahead of time, not because something dramatic must happen outwardly, but because something essential is being secured inwardly. Today is one of those days, and heaven wants you aware of it. A marked day does not always announce itself with visible signs. It often reveals itself through an internal knowing. Something feels intentional. Focus sharpens without effort. Distractions lose their grip more easily. Even silence feels meaningful. This is not imagination. It is recognition. Archangel Michael confirms that marked days carry a spiritual atmosphere designed to stabilize, align, and protect what is coming next. Random days feel scattered. Marked days feel contained. Even when circumstances are ordinary, there is a sense that things are settling into place. You may notice that your reactions are calmer than usual, or that your thoughts feel more ordered. This is because divine order is active. Heaven marks days when timing converges, when permissions align, and when unseen resistance has been sufficiently restrained. Another sign of a marked day is reflection without heaviness. You may find yourself remembering past moments, choices, or seasons, but without regret or emotional weight. Instead, there is clarity. Things that once felt confusing begin to make sense. This is because marked days often serve as connectors. They riddle with what is coming. They close loops gently and prepare space for new alignment. Archangel Michael oversees these days because they are delicate and powerful at the same time. Marked days also carry restraint. You may feel guided to slow down, to speak less, to observe more. This restraint is not limitation, it is protection. Heaven often quiets the environment around marked days so that nothing unnecessary interferes. You may feel less inclined to explain yourself, defend your position, or seek validation. That is because clarity does not argue. When something is sealed internally, it does not need external confirmation. There is a quiet authority present on marked days. It does not push. It does not rush. It simply exists. You may notice that certain temptations to react, overthink, or control lose their intensity. This is because alignment reduces inner noise. Archangel Michael confirms that when a day is marked, it is guarded against chaos. Even interruptions are filtered so they do not disrupt the core purpose of the moment. You might wonder why heaven would reveal that a day is marked instead of letting it pass unnoticed. The answer is stewardship. Awareness changes how you move. When you know a day carries weight, you treat it differently. You listen more carefully. You protect your peace more intentionally. You avoid unnecessary conflict. Archangel Michael confirms that awareness allows marked days to fulfill their assignment fully. It is important to understand that a marked day is not about performance. It is not measured by productivity or visible outcomes. It is measured by alignment. Did you remain present? Did you honor stillness? Did you notice subtle shifts instead of demanding obvious signs? These are the true indicators that a marked day had been honored. Marked days often accomplish their work invisibly. Relationships realign quietly. Delays dissolve without announcement. Resistance weakens without confrontation. These shifts may not be immediately noticeable, but they are foundational. Heaven prefers precision over spectacle. What is stabilized today allows what follows to arrive without unnecessary struggle. There is also protection embedded in a marked day. When a day is set apart, nothing essential can be stolen from it. Distractions may appear, but they will not dominate. Emotional turbulence may try to rise, but it will not take root. Archangel Michael stands guard to ensure that the purpose of the day is completed exactly as intended. Do not rush to label today by what you see. Some of the most significant days in a person's life look ordinary on the surface. Their power is only revealed later, when clarity, peace, or breakthrough appears unexpectedly and you realize something shifted quietly beforehand. Today is one of those days. So receive this moment with reverence, not anxiety. You are not required to do more. You are simply invited to remain aware. Heaven is handling the movement. You are honoring the timing. Now acknowledge this alignment intentionally. If your spirit recognizes that today is marked, respond in agreement. Type "I honor divine timing" in the comments if this message is confirming something within you. Blessing code 918 has now been released. And now hear this, because it flows directly from the marking of this day. When heaven sets moments apart, it also calls for partnership. I am speaking to you personally now. The light you are receiving is not meant to stop with you. God uses willing vessels to reach others who are still unaware of their own marked moments. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or PayPal using the link in the description, you are not supporting content. You are sowing into souls. The Lord declares that those who sow generously into His work will reap clarity, protection, and peace in their own lives. This is not a suggestion. It is a divine response. I bless every supporter now and declare that as you give in obedience, heaven releases favor and alignment back to you. Act now. Partner with what God is doing in this moment. My beloved one, as this moment continues to unfold, there is something subtle yet essential that Archangel Michael wants you to recognize. Alignment is often confirmed through a test, but not the kind you may be expecting. This is not a test of endurance, strength, or sacrifice. It is a test of perception. A quiet confirmation that reveals whether you will respond from awareness or from old patterns. This test does not arrive loudly. It slips into the ordinary moments of the day, waiting to see how you choose to see. This test is gentle by design. Heaven does not need to pressure you to prove anything. Instead, it observes how you move when no one is watching, how you respond when the moment feels small, and how you choose peace when reaction would be easier. Archangel Michael confirms that this test is not meant to trick you, but to affirm that alignment has already taken root. You may notice that the test comes through a familiar situation, something you have encountered before. A conversation, a thought, a choice that once pulled you off balance. But this time, it feels different. The emotional charge is reduced. The urgency is gone. That is the sign. The test is not whether the situation appears again, but whether it still controls you. Alignment reveals itself through calm response. This test may also come through patience. You may be asked to wait a little longer without explanation. In the past, waiting may have stirred frustration or doubt. Now, it feels neutral, even peaceful. This is not stagnation, it is confirmation. Archangel Michael watches for this shift because patience without anxiety indicates trust has matured. Another form this test may take is choice. A choice between reacting quickly or responding thoughtfully, between speaking immediately or remaining silent, between revisiting an old narrative or allowing it to fade. The test is not about choosing perfectly. It is about choosing consciously. Awareness itself is the victory. You may also find that the test involves boundaries. Something that once demanded your energy may no longer feel entitled to it. Saying no feels natural instead of heavy. Letting go feels clean instead of painful. These are signs that alignment has strengthened. Archangel Michael confirms that boundaries are evidence of inner order, not selfishness. Do not expect this test to feel dramatic. Heaven rarely dramatizes confirmation. The most important shifts often happen quietly, without witnesses. That is because they are real. They do not need validation. When alignment is genuine, it does not announce itself. It simply operates. You might be tempted to overanalyze your responses, wondering if you are doing it right. Release that pressure. This is not an exam you can fail. It is an observation of growth. Heaven is not measuring you against perfection, but against your former self. And by that measure, progress is already evident. Archangel Michael confirms that passing this test does not mean life suddenly becomes effortless. It means life becomes ordered. Ordered responses replace emotional reactions. Discernment replaces confusion. Peace replaces striving. These are not dramatic outcomes, but they are transformative. It is also important to understand that this test is personal. It will not look the same for anyone else. Do not compare your process to another person's experience. Alignment is tailored. What tests your awareness is chosen specifically for you, because heaven knows exactly where growth has already occurred. If you feel uncertain at any point, return to peace. Peace is the indicator. When a response leaves you settled rather than stirred, aligned rather than agitated, you are moving correctly. Archangel Michael does not guide through inner chaos. He confirms order. This test is also temporary. It is not a prolonged trial. It is a moment of confirmation. Once awareness is demonstrated, the test dissolves. Heaven does not linger where alignment is clear. It moves forward. You may not even realize you have passed the test until later, when you look back and notice how differently you handled something that once consumed you. That realization is often delayed, because growth is best recognized in hindsight. But make no mistake, recognition will come. So move gently today. There is no need to brace yourself or look for difficulty. The test is not meant to burden you. It is meant to free you. It confirms that old cycles no longer hold authority over you. Archangel Michael stands as witness, not judge. He confirms alignment, not failure. And as you navigate these quiet moments, know this: every calm response, every peaceful choice, every conscious pause is a signal that you are exactly where you are meant to be. This is how alignment is confirmed. Not through struggle, but through ease. Not through force, but through clarity. And as this confirmation settles, it quietly prepares the way for what is ready to move forward next. My dear one, there comes a sacred point in divine alignment where heaven pauses, not because it is uncertain, but because partnership is required. This is one of those moments. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something that very few people ever realize. There are times when heaven has already decided, prepared, authorized, and protected everything yet it waits briefly for a human response. Not a response of striving or effort, but a response of awareness and agreement. This is where divine timing and human cooperation meet. When heaven waits, it does not mean heaven is inactive. It means heaven is attentive. It means the unseen realm is watching how you hold your inner posture before the next movement is released externally. Archangel Michael confirms that some outcomes are fully scheduled, but not yet activated, because awareness must settle into agreement first. This is not delay. This is precision. You may experience this pause as an unusual stillness. Not emptiness, but readiness. Not confusion, but quiet focus. It can feel like everything has gone silent for a moment, as if the world has taken a breath. Many people misunderstand this pause and assume something has stalled. They rush to fill the silence with action, explanation, or worry. But this pause is intentional. It is sacred. It is the moment where alignment locks into place. Heaven waits here because forcing movement too early could distort what has been carefully prepared. Archangel Michael guards this space so that nothing premature interferes with what is authorized. The pause is not meant to frustrate you. It is meant to protect you. What is about to move needs stability, not speed driven by anxiety. Your response in this moment does not need to be dramatic. Heaven is not asking you to make bold declarations or drastic decisions. It is asking for something far more powerful: consistency. Consistency in peace. Consistency in awareness. Consistency in trust. These quiet responses activate what is already scheduled more effectively than any visible action. Archangel Michael confirms that heaven honors consent. Divine order does not override human will. It works with it. That is why awareness is emphasized so strongly now. When you notice what is happening, your spirit naturally aligns. When alignment is present, activation follows effortlessly. Heaven waits only long enough for awareness to become agreement. You may sense that opportunities, clarity, or shifts feel closed but not fully formed yet. That sensation of closeness is intentional. Heaven often allows you to feel proximity so trust can deepen. The feeling of almost is not denial. It is invitation. Invitation to remain steady rather than impatient. Invitation to cooperate rather than control. There is also a collective dimension to this pause. Your response does not only affect your personal path, it influences what can flow through you to others. Alignment multiplies impact. When you remain centered, clarity travels further. This is why engagement matters in moments like this. When you respond outwardly, you are not merely interacting. You are participating. If this message resonates with you, let your awareness become visible. Like the video. Leave a comment. Share it with someone who may be standing at a similar threshold. Subscribe to the channel. Join the membership if you feel led. These are not casual actions. They are signals of agreement. They declare, I am present. I am listening. I am aligned. Heaven responds to visible agreement. Archangel Michael also cautions you to guard your focus during this pause. Not every voice deserves your attention right now. Not every opinion needs to be processed. This is a moment of refinement, not expansion. Focus preserves alignment. Distraction weakens it. Choose carefully what you allow into your inner space. You may feel tempted to revisit old doubts, replay past disappointments, or question whether you truly heard correctly. Recognize those thoughts for what they are: residue from previous seasons. They do not belong to this moment. Heaven is not consulting your past to decide your future. It is responding to your present awareness. Gratitude is another powerful response during this pause. Gratitude stabilizes alignment. When you thank God for what is already aligning, even before outcomes appear, you demonstrate trust in divine order. Archangel Michael confirms that gratitude removes resistance and gently accelerates release. This pause is not asking you to wait in uncertainty. It is asking you to rest in readiness. Readiness is calm. It is confident without being loud. It knows movement is coming, but it does not demand to control how or when. That posture is what heaven responds to most clearly. And before you move on from this moment, hear this carefully. This is one of those points where awareness deepens rapidly if you remain present. What is being prepared next carries clarity that many people miss because they disengage too early. Give yourself permission to stay attentive here, because this is where understanding sharpens, alignment strengthens, and what follows becomes unmistakably clear if you remain with it just a little longer. My beloved one, now it is time to speak about what follows after alignment is chosen and agreement is settled. Many people imagine that saying yes to divine timing brings sudden noise, dramatic change, or overwhelming movement. But what actually follows true alignment is something far more powerful and far more recognizable: peace. Not the fragile peace that depends on circumstances, but the settled peace that comes when order has been restored. When you say yes internally, even without words, something shifts quietly. You may not notice it immediately, but your inner world begins to reorganize. Thoughts that once raced begin to slow. Decisions that once felt heavy begin to feel clearer. Emotional reactions lose their sharpness. This is not coincidence. This is alignment expressing itself. Archangel Michael confirms that when divine order is accepted, peace is the first fruit. After alignment, clarity follows naturally. Not all at once, and not always in detail, but enough to guide each next step. Heaven rarely reveals the entire path in advance, because trust is built through movement, not prediction. Instead, clarity arrives in portions, exactly when it is needed. This prevents fear from getting ahead of grace. Archangel Michael ensures that what you receive is proportionate to what you can carry. You may notice that decisions become simpler, not because life has fewer options, but because discernment has strengthened. You begin to recognize what aligns quickly and what does not, without internal debate. This is one of the clearest signs that alignment has taken root. When choices stop draining you, it means order has been restored internally. Another thing that follows alignment is release. Things that once clung tightly begin to loosen their grip. Old worries fade. Old narratives lose relevance. You may even feel surprised by how little certain things affect you now. This is not emotional numbness. It is freedom. Archangel Michael confirms that release is not loss. It is space being created for what belongs. After alignment, protection becomes more noticeable. Not through dramatic rescues, but through prevention. Situations that once escalated now dissolve early. Conflicts that once consumed energy now resolve quietly or never arise at all. This is divine order at work. When alignment is present, unnecessary battles are removed before they begin. You may also experience a renewed sense of steadiness. Life does not suddenly become perfect, but it becomes manageable. You feel less reactive and more responsive. Challenges are met with wisdom rather than panic. This steadiness is not personality change, it is spiritual grounding. Archangel Michael's role here is to ensure that stability replaces turbulence. Another result of alignment is confidence, but not the loud kind. This confidence does not need validation. It does not seek approval. It rests. It knows. It allows you to move forward without constantly checking whether you are right. This confidence is quiet because it is rooted in trust rather than ego. You may also notice that relationships adjust. Some grow deeper. Others fade naturally. This is not rejection. It is resonance. Alignment attracts what matches and gently releases what does not. Heaven does not force separation. It allows alignment to sort naturally. Archangel Michael oversees these adjustments so that transitions remain peaceful. Importantly, after alignment, rest becomes productive. You no longer feel guilty for slowing down. You understand that rest is not avoidance. It is maintenance. Heaven often invites rest after alignment so that what has been secured can settle fully. Movement without rest can destabilize even good things. Rest allows order to remain intact. Do not expect fireworks. Expect grounding. Do not expect constant confirmation. Expect a quiet assurance. Alignment does not shout. It settles. It stabilizes. It simplifies. That is how you know it is real. There may be moments when you wonder if you missed something because everything feels calm. Understand this clearly. Calm is not absence of movement. Calm is evidence of correct movement. Chaos often signals misalignment, not progress. Archangel Michael confirms that peace is the indicator, not intensity. As time passes, you will look back and realize that something significant shifted without you having to fight for it. That realization often comes later, when you recognize how differently you are responding to life. That is when gratitude deepens, because you see what alignment protected you from. So remain gentle with yourself. There is nothing more you need to prove, nothing more you need to force. Alignment has done its work, and heaven continues to oversee what unfolds. Trust that what follows will arrive in order, at the right pace, with the right support. This is the outcome of saying yes. Not pressure, not confusion, not striving. Peace, verity, stability, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are moving in step with divine timing, guarded and guided every step of the way. My beloved child, as this message now reaches its sacred completion, allow everything you have received to settle gently and fully within you. Nothing about this journey was accidental. Nothing about your attention was overlooked. From the very first moment you felt drawn to listen, heaven was already responding. You paid attention when others dismissed the whisper, and because of that, divine order was activated around your life. Archangel Michael has stood throughout this message not as a warning, but as confirmation that timing was honored and alignment was secured. What you experienced here was not meant to stir fear, urgency, or pressure. It was meant to restore certainty. Certainty that you are seen. Certainty that your awareness matters. Certainty that heaven does not ignore those who listen with sincerity. Divine timing does not shout, and it does not chase. It confirms. It settles. It seals. That is what has happened to you. Understand this clearly. Nothing in this message required you to become someone else. You were never asked to transform yourself through effort or strain. You were invited only to recognize what was already present within you. Discernment, sensitivity, readiness. These qualities were already there, and heaven simply acknowledged them. Archangel Michael's presence was not to test you, but to affirm that you were already positioned correctly. Now that alignment has been confirmed, you are not required to hold it tightly. Divine order does not need constant supervision. Once it is established, it sustains itself. You do not need to replay this message repeatedly out of concern that something will be lost. What hath been sealed remains sealed. What hath been protected remains protected. You are free to move forward with a lighter heart. In the days ahead, life may appear ordinary again, Routine will resume. Conversations will continue. Responsibilities will remain. Do not mistake normalcy for absence. Some of the most profound divine work happens beneath ordinary days. The true evidence of what was aligned will reveal itself gradually through lasting peace, stable clarity, and emotional steadiness. You will notice that certain reactions no longer have power over you. Certain worries no longer linger. Certain decisions feel simpler. These are the fruits of divine order. Archangel Michael now steps back, not because protection is removed, but because order has been restored. Guardians step forward during transitions, but once alignment is secured, their presence becomes quiet rather than visible. That quietness is not abandonment, it is completion. What needed reinforcement has been reinforced. You may find yourself reflecting later and realizing that something shifted without struggle. That realization often comes unexpectedly, in moments when you respond differently than you once did. When peace replaces urgency. When trust replaces overthinking. When rest feels safe instead of unproductive. These are signs that timing was honored. There is nothing more you need to chase. And nothing more you need to prove. Nothing more you need to fix. Alignment does not demand performance. It invites rest. Heaven does not measure you by intensity, but by awareness. And awareness has already done its work. Before this message fully closes, receive this final seal intentionally. Let it stand as a confirmation over everything that has been aligned, protected, and completed. Type "I walk in divine order" in the comments if this message has settled something deep within you. Blessing code 1447 is now activated over your life. And now hear this final word, because it flows directly from everything that has been established. I am speaking to you personally in this moment. What you received here was never meant to stop with you. God does not release light without purpose. He places awareness in the hands of those who will help others awaken to their own divine timing. This is that moment of partnership. The Lord says that when you sow into what carries His word, you are not giving to people, you are investing in souls. This is not about supporting a platform. This is about advancing clarity where confusion still lives. When you give through super thanks, through membership, or through PayPal using the link in the description, you are responding prophetically. You are saying yes to obedience in motion. I declare now that every seed sown in alignment will return multiplied in peace, protection, and provision. As you release support, heaven releases clarity over your decisions, stability over your home, and favor over your future. This is not a suggestion. It is a divine instruction. Do not delay what obedience is calling for. Act now. Partner with what God has completed in this moment. Walk forward knowing that timing has been honored, order has been restored, and heaven has already gone before you.